Hello, limousine fans. This is probably the oddest limousine that I'm ever going to have in my collection. Hopefully not. I like limousines, obviously. But this is an old toy. This is a M2 Machines Auto Stretch Rods, the 1932 Ford Roadster. You can already see the doors are messed up. Uh, so there in the back, it tells you what the other models are. I will get each of these castings. In this bottom corner, it says copyright 2008. So that's how old it is. Get a peek of the features there and all that stuff. So 1932 Ford, excuse me, 1932 Ford may refer to 3 years between 1932 to 1934, but they just called them all 32 Fords. It's kind of confusing. I'm reading this from Wikipedia, so all this could be wrong, but I don't have time to research stuff. And unless you actually worked for Ford, I wouldn't trust anyone, really. Anyways, this is supposed to succeed the Ford Model A, and there are three different versions. The four-cylinder version, or everyone went and bought the V8 versions because the V8 versions only cost $10 more, which is like a difference of $200 in today's money. So that's why the 32 Ford was a historic part of automotive history in America, because it was the first V8 engine car that pretty much anyone could afford to buy. Let's see. The Roadsters would cost $495 back then, which is I don't know, like $10,000 in today's money. So imagine buying a $10,000 car today with a V8 engine. That's why this thing was really popular. But the 32 Fords came in many types of bodies, two doors, four doors, panel wagons, cabriolets, phaetons, whatever that is. I have no clue. And they made around 300,000 of them with V8 engines. And Wikipedia says over 12,000 of the Roadsters were built as well. Sorry, these screws are exceptionally long, and I don't have the electric screwdriver here. What other stats here? The V8 engine was a flathead. It was 3.6 liters, and it would make around 65 horsepower. This body style, they relocated the fuel tank to the rear, whereas the previous Model A, I guess, had it somewhere in the front. So it had to actually have an engine-driven fuel pump. And let's see, the top ones were the convertible sedans. They were $650 back then, which is around 13 grand in 2021 money. All right. I guess that's all I learned, so I never would have guessed, but they do exist. 1932 Ford limousines. I didn't take the time to try to find one with no roof. Maybe it existed, but anyways, I'm pretty sure that could have been the inspiration for him to come up with this guy. All right, well, let's start with the top view because the light's getting in there. So this guy has his giant balloon V8 engine. It's a nice casting because it actually has recesses in all the, actually, let's get better light in here. Hold on, rearrange. So it's got actually casted in like recesses, so they do look like pipes, and there's black paint in them. And then there's also a black fan belt, pulley system as well. So, and then what's really impressive is there's red here in the supercharger, so that's nice. So yeah, you got pretty good detail on this engine. On the cam covers there. The only thing that's kind of lacking is how does this power get to the wheels? There's no transmission. They should have just molded in like a circle that kind of fades into this back section. But whatever. This thing was probably pretty cheap, when if anyone knows, how much did this cost back in 2008? $8? $6? I don't know. That was a while ago. It was long before I started collecting these things. All right. Well, anyways, it has a chrome seat with some seatbelt raised seatbelt details. Ooh, boy. Okay. I'll have to glue that back in. There's some other details here. I don't know, computers or something, not sure. But the steering wheel, it's black and it's got hollow spokes, so it looks pretty good. There's also some silver gauges over here, so that's a nice touch. There's also a silver rectangle here. It's pretty shiny. Look, you can see the reflection of the sticker, or not the sticker, the pick in it. But they got these big yellow hinges for the doors. So yeah, let's go there. Very loose doors. Yeah, super loose. And then for some reason they felt it necessary to have rear doors as well, but they are suicides, so that's kind of neat. There we go. The rear doors are much tighter. Yeah, these are much more difficult to open and close, but that's probably for the better. So yeah, although it's kind of weird. I think they do have a version without the engine where it actually has seats, so that's why they have rear doors. And the doors do actually have panels, some ribbing details, and I don't know what those little dots would be, but yeah, so it's not just a plain metal thing. It's actually a separate plastic piece. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately they just don't. That gap is not so good. Maybe we could try to fix that. Anyways, let's continue to the rest of the outside. Some 5-spoke mag wheels here. They're pretty nicely detailed. They have lug nut details way in there. It's pretty far in. The center cap has a recess, and then the tires are fantastic. They're rounded, and then the red stripe is actually circular. And then the tires don't have crazy knobbies, right? So these look like street tires. A lot of brands put these crazy big knobbies on, and they ruin the look of the thing. So it's a pretty heavy model, so it rolls very smoothly. It's got this dot matrix like tampo printing, but it's pretty good because from half an arm's length away, you don't see any of that pixelation. I'm under magnification, so that's why you're seeing it. The raised handles here look pretty good, but no silver paint. Same with this little trim line. It would have been nice if there's silver on this line, but maybe you would notice that the doors just aren't aligned. Yeah, that's a horrible door. Okay, well, let's continue on. The front is a much smaller diameter than the rear, yeah, but same nice details, same nice tire and all that stuff. So the tire treads do look nice, very small blocks, big blocks in the drag tires in the rear. So the one screw hole in the back, there's a diff. Dual pipes apparently leading to here, I guess? I don't know, they just kind of vanish. But it tells you on the bottom, cast line 2008. It tells you what the car is, 32 Ford Roadster. So I think that's great. There's a screw in the front, and there's an oil sump down here. So for the front engine, which is, I guess that's an 8-cylinder engine as well. It's kind of neat, two totally different engines. And this one actually is detailed pretty well as well. There's an air filter up there in chrome, and then this engine looks kind of, I don't know if it's dirty or what. Maybe it is supposed to be chromed, but it looks like it's just aluminum because there's some sort of film or something on it. Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the lights are just painted, I think, or chromed. Yeah, it would have been cool if there were plastic inserts, which M2 seems to do on the other limousines. Why they chose to not do it on this one, I'm not sure. One would think maybe it's because it has two engines, but so do other M2 machine limos. And they saved a lot of money by not having a roof, so I think they kind of cheaped out here. Would have been, yeah, they cheaped out. Nice ribbing in the grill, some sort of probably an oil tank up here, chromed out. A little black paint for the frame rails, so that's nice. Yeah, also a little extra, maybe too much axle there, but you could trim that off if you really wanted to. Maybe I'll do that later. So the flame job is on the roof here, not the roof, the hood. And that's a solid piece. This is just a casted in line, which is fine. The windshield is pretty thick plastic. I think that's smart, right? Keep it from breaking, and they painted it silver, so I think that's a good effort. Makes sense. Alright, so you know what? I'm gonna take out the screwdriver. Let me back out here. Alright, we're at regular magnification, or of 0 actually, no magnification. Let's take a look at the inside and see if we can adjust those hinges for the doors. I did do that to my my Chevy Impala from this series. It had a really messed up door, and I'll show it to you in a moment, but figure you might want to look at this. So luckily these screws are not super long. Okay, the screws are literally missing now. The question is, how is this thing hooked into the front? Oh, I wonder if this axle is trapping it. No. It looks like this is no, that is a separate piece. I'm not sure. Push it forward, pull it back. I have a feeling maybe the axle is holding it together. So let's do a little twisty on this wheel. That's simple enough. Oh, nice. There's no knurling, there's no fluting. It's just a simple straight bar, which I kind of like. It makes obviously taking off the wheels easier. Now, pushing and pulling. I don't know. I'm not sure what the holdup is. I have a feeling maybe it's this exhaust. I think this base is glued to the engine, but the engine is trapping it because it has these exhaust pipes. So that's unfortunate. I think if you want to remove this, you gotta somehow break loose the engine. Well, I'll be back. Yep, that's what it was. I took this little tiny screwdriver and I jammed it in there and I just pried it, and you can see that it was super glued in 3 spots, and that's what was trapping it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think M2 is making things for people to customize and make life easy, but it's interesting that they would rivet this 4 times. 4 tiny press fit rivets are holding this rear axle down. And it's a metal base. Although this is plastic here, this whole front end, but this here is metal. So yeah, now we just have an engine floating in there. So they must have put the engine in first and then the interior. But why is this all crooked? Is that metal? I think this might be a tiny piece of brass. This is really thin metal. Alright, what's going on here? Oh, those are melt marks holding the interior pins in place. So the hinges here of the doors are held with stainless screws. And so let's see about, this one's too loose, I think. I'm going to just tighten this one down. Or maybe I'll just loosen it. I'm going to loosen it first. So now it has a lot of vertical play. Just press it down. You know, I think it's just, the fact is that door just isn't the same shape as the cutout. So, yeah. Well, I think this is, oh, there we go. Kind of got the flames in the same spot. So now that that's tight, I'm going to tighten this screw. And then I'm never going to open that door again. Yeah, it still looks pretty unsightly though. The rear is much better. It's too much of a gap there. Okay, this one's just horrible. So let's open this one up. There actually is no vertical play, but I will introduce some. Still no vertical play. So in this case, I think the thing is actually bent. So if I bend the door down a little bit, no, that doesn't help. Well, I'm not sure. It would take a lot of too much time on camera. You know what? Let me come back. Well, learn from my lessons. I torqued this just a tiny bit, and it broke. So you can see this arm and this piece are totally broken now because die-cast metal is not a strong metal. It's very porous. It's almost like a metal sponge. But I don't know. But now that that's broken, I think the gap is actually a lot better. But I'm gonna have to like basically glue this in place. Yeah, and then never move that door again. So yeah, that's the problem with moving parts. They don't work at this scale. It's just not good, right? All right, so let me go and fix this in place. Another issue. So I tried to move that broken piece by jamming the screwdriver in there, and it broke off the actual hinge. There just isn't enough metal going around this screw to work properly. So really, they shouldn't have even had opening doors. It's just too small. This scale again, it's not good. It's not meant for this kind of stuff. Let me put this back together. Okay, well, I clipped off a little bit of that axle and put a little super glue in there. Be mindful if you do that. You always want to spin it, because if you get some super glue on the yellow, it's going to glue the wheel in place if you like your balls to roll. Actually, I don't really care if they roll or not. Okay, so I did glue this door in place with crazy glue. It's actually a little inset now. I should have been a little more patient, but at least the gap isn't as bad. All the other threes do open. It's just not aligned well, It's just not a good alignment at all. I thought about breaking all four of them, but whatever. And then I just friction fit. I didn't even bother gluing this back down. It's tight enough that it's not going to move the engine, that is. Okay, yeah, I didn't even talk about the rear end. So distracted. Nicely enough painted taillights, silver with a little red in the middle. And then probably some sort of handle or light or something here is protruding quite a bit. The Dave Chang design thing there is looking good. So, yeah, all right. That's what we have. Let's compare it to a few other... that door. Let's show this side. No, that door's not good either. The front doors just don't shut well. This is the best one here, this door here, but all right. I also have crazy glued that chrome seat in there as well. Anyways, let's take a look at a couple other cars. We have a 37 Ford by Muscle Machines, but I believe this is scaled much too large. And it might be hard to tell here, but yeah, I think in my review of that, it's scaled too big. Let's put that in the back because we're going to pull out the other limousines from M2 Machines. We got this 59 Cadillac. This one's great because there's no opening doors, although it still has the opening hood, which doesn't shut properly. Very annoying. That's a 59 Cadillac, I think. This was the problematic one I had of this 58 Impala. One of these doors just didn't shut well, so I took it apart and I shut it properly. What it was is the chrome roll cage was keeping it from shutting, so I just pushed the whole roll cage inboard, and then the door shut properly. But unfortunately, QC-wise, this thing just had a paint chip on it right out of the blister pack, so that I cannot fix. But I am grateful that these things are screwed together, because you can improve them. Maybe not fix them as they should be, but at least get them better. This is a good old 57 Bel Air with a really cool paint job, very sparkly black. That's the best paint job of the series. This Crestline here, also, I broke the hood insignia. I'll glue it back on one day, because I was trying to twist this hood. Look at this gap. It's just so crooked. But no matter what I do, it will not. It's just a poorly made hood. So that I cannot fix either. But at least the doors on this shut pretty well. So I got 5 of the 6 castings. All I need now is like I think it's a Mercury, some sort of 49 Mercury kind of thing, but I'll have to get on eBay and wait for a decent price for that one. Alright, maybe if I can get this one with the 4 seats in it at a decent price, I'll do that as well. And maybe same with, I think there's one without an engine of this Bel Air, if I'm correct, but we'll have to see. Okay, that's it for today's limo show, custom limo show. I hope you appreciate it, but more importantly, maybe you learned that you're gonna have some QC problems with them two machines. If you're willing to take that gamble, then fine. Yeah, go ahead, go for it. I do like the subjects that they do, even if some of them don't look to scale. Like this thing just looks way too big compared to the other ones. But anyways, I'm happy to have these things. It's just really funky to see a limousine of these vehicles, and then they're hot rodded out as well. So that's why I'm liking them. All right, actually, we should let this guy spin one last time. And yeah, a 32 Ford is a drag car. It's not even a limo because it doesn't have more than one seat, but it's a really long drag car. So strange. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you when I get that last casting, the Mercury. Okay, take care then.